This is a story of points on a map, a story of wide open spaces and small towns with big hearts. This is a story of faith in changing times. It's a story of a journey, of a man who travels a long road and the people he meets along the way. Early one morning at a school in the northern suburbs of Johannesburg, the sounds of devotion rise up to heaven. These are the ties that bind, the threads that connect a small community on the southern tip of Africa with the people of a distant land and a distant age. The people of the book. The scrolling and unscrolling of the ancient text, passing the law down from one generation to another, calling Jews across the world to prayer. Today, Rabbi Tanzer, founder and spiritual head of Yeshiva College in Glen Hazel, has been joined by a special guest for the morning service, an old boy of the school who has traveled a long road since his graduation, Rabbi Moshe Silberhaft, the rabbi with the biggest flock in the country. The vast plains of the South African countryside, or Platteland, where Jews are scattered few and far between. In the latter years of the 19th century, their ancestors came from across the sea, fleeing persecution in Russia and Eastern Europe. They came from small towns, villages, and rural settlements. And here in Africa, it was in small towns, villages, and rural settlements that many of them made their home. But like the four winds that brought them here, the Jewish country communities of South Africa have dwindled and dispersed over the years. Today, only handfuls of Jews remain on the Platteland. This is their rabbi. In the library of the primary school at Yeshiva College, Rabbi Moshe tells a new generation about the work he does as South Africa's country communities rabbi.
How many of you have roots, their grandparents, parents come from the country communities? By a show of hands. Wow, that's fantastic. Okay.
My name is Galia, and my gran is from Witbank.
My name is Adam, my father is from Benoni, and my grandfather is from Brakpan.
My name's Gilad, and this is my twin sister Talia. We come from Johannesburg, and our
gran comes from Paris.
My name is Jessica, and my grandmother's from Rudeport.
My name's Daron, I come from Glen Hazel, and my grandmother's from Zimbabwe.
Now, what does my job entail? It entails basically getting into the car, that's why I'm called a traveling rabbi, or into an aeroplane, and I travel from small town to small town to small town, visiting people, visiting communities. It can be 1 Jew to 100 Jews, or to 300 Jews. It depends on the towns that have Jews remaining in them.
The rabbi gets set for his road trip by calling for kosher provisions at a restaurant and deli in Sandringham, an area of Joburg known as the Kosher Strip. There aren't many places to buy kosher food and supplies in adherence with Jewish law in the country communities, but the rabbi delivers. Today, the road leads northwest, about 130 kilometers from his home base. Once, Potchefstroom was home to a thriving Jewish community. Now, the old synagogue, or shul, built in 1920, houses a beauty college. But the memories linger beneath the facade. By Jewish custom, a visitor to a grave will leave a stone as a token of remembering, a calling card from those left behind to those who have traveled on. Interred here is the very soul of a community. The scrolls of the law from the old Pot Shul. But the stones themselves have a story to tell. The visitors still come. Gerald Green was born in Potch and has lived here all his life.
For whatever reason, I take a stone and I put it down and have a little bit of a thought and a memory and a prayer.
His duty now, his pride, is to oversee the maintenance of the Jewish section of this cemetery, where the tombstones have been laid flat to prevent vandalism and decay. Here lies history. Here lies memory. Here lies a congregation of days gone by. But the community lives on. and the rabbi still calls. It's time for a little Sunday morning schmooze.
How are you, Mrs. Kotzen, Mr.
Well,
Kotzen?
thank you, Rabbi. Welcome to our home and to Potter's.
Thank you. Here's some flowers for Mother's Day.
Oh, that's really kind and sweet. Thank you,
How you
so
doing?
much.
Today, there are only enough Jews left in the town to fit comfortably in the lounge of Izzy and Beatty Kotzen's home. Izzy and Beatty were married at the Shul in Poch more than 60 years ago. They've seen the town change. They've seen people come and go.
It was a thriving Potch Jewish community. We're about 120 or 130 families. We had a union of Jewish women, we had a women's Zionist league, and they were both very active societies. We now down to 14 Jewish souls. And as I say, the sadness is that when people walked in here today, I had to say, do you know everybody?
And the yummy food again. Your wife always spoils us with good food.
Yes, she's a very good cook.
Thank God. Excellent.
Schmoozing is a rabbinical duty. It means to catch up on news, to sit a while and talk about the old days. Add some kosher eats, and to use another Yiddish word, it's heimlich, homely.
I grew up on a farm that 20 k's out of Potch, and we used to come to school by bus, and we used to come to shul, and my parents in the beginning years used to sleep over so they wouldn't have to drive. But as things got modern, we used to drive in. I must say, we used to send in to kosher kill our chickens. A man on a bicycle used to come to Rabbi Steinia, he used to slaughter them and then take them back to the farm.
We were a close community, but not today so much. It is very sad. But it's okay, I make the best of it. I've got family all over, Joburg, London, Canada, America. They're all there, and I'm here. So what can I say?
He does a tremendous job for all the Jews in South Africa. He travels around, and he's been tremendously a good friend.
I just want to just tell you that Moshe must have a lot of people to remember, and he never fails to think of Izzy and my birthday. Every year he phones us, and that's very special.
And now the road leads on to another small town where the rabbi has come to lend a helping hand.
Teiglach for Pesach, kosher grape juice, matzah.
Thank you very much.
Matzah meal to make kneidlach, hopefully, please
I
God.
haven't seen food like this in 16 months.
Hard times for Karen and her husband in the mining town of Stilfontein. The mine has shut down, leaving hundreds jobless.
It didn't even enter my head that one day I would need help. And so I have nothing, I've given it all away. And I will still carry on helping the community. Somebody was at my gate this morning, but I need to stand strong, and I need my Jewish faith to keep me strong, and I depend on you a lot for emotional help and for help with food for me.
As you requested, also I have in the car a full box of books for you.
Thank you so
that will
much.
hopefully be able to replenish you spiritually, Jewishly, and be able that you should be able to in your spare time read.
I'm crying,
No, it's absolutely
You've given me
amazing.
so much help. I have food. I've been living on millipap and sugar in the morning and millipap and salt at night. But if somebody comes to my gate, I can't say no. I have a problem saying no.
The role of the country community's rabbi has no description, no job description, basically. At one stage I wasn't well, and I was thinking to draw up a job description for a successor. And after 3 pages, I just stopped doing that, because we are the only link that country Jews have, effectively, to the bigger centers and to Judaism. And our responsibility goes from organizing a bris, to a bar mitzvah, to a wedding, a funeral, God forbid, unveilings, to everything in between.
The mezuzah, a symbol of divine protection, and a sign that this is a Jewish home. The rabbi leads Karen in the recitation of the traditional blessing.
Baruch,
Baruch
atah, Adonai, Eloheinu, Melech, Haolam, Asher, Kiddishanu,
Kiddishanu,
B'mitzvotav,
Bar mitzvotav.
Vetsivano.
Vetsivano.
Likboa.
Likboa.
Mezuzah.
Mezuzah.
I just push it onto it off now.